San Haisai from the Ryukyu Kingdom of Okinawa, Japan. You are listening to the Shima Gaijin podcast with your host, Joe Isamu Davis.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you?
Good. Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, likewise. Hajimemashite.
How's you want to say?
Is your name pronounced Shion?
Yeah, Shion. Well, yeah, in Japan I go by Shion, but in America people can't pronounce it, so I just go by Sean.
The white people.
Exactly.
My middle name's Isamu, and
right.
I remember I was telling somebody, this is back in the States when I was in I think junior high, and this other person, I think they're like Nisei or Sansei, they said, yeah, my uncle's name is Isamu too, but all his friends just call him Sam.
Honestly, unless you go about it that way, people are gonna butcher your name all day.
Yeah.
I got tired of substitutes, especially, when they do roll call in school, and they'll just literally be like, Shion, I don't know how to pronounce it, Shion, so I was like, yeah, no, it's just Sean. Yeah, first day of school was always interesting, to say the least.
That's cool. I hope you don't mind. I already hit record.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate you making time. Is your last name Brewer?
So I go by Brewer in America, but in Japan I go by Serikyaku.
Serikyaku?
Yeah, Serikyaku.
Serikyaku.
Which is my mom's maiden name.
Okay, and she's from Okinawa.
Yeah, she's from Okinawa.
Okay, what part?
A part called Sashiki. It's in Nanjoshi. It's like kind of you know where Chinen is?
Yeah.
Like it's like next to Chinen, pretty much.
Okay, so yeah. Super Naka.
Yeah, super Inaka. Yeah, for sure. There's only sugarcane fields and the ocean. Pretty much that's it.
Yeah, and you were well, let me actually backtrack. So this is so weird. It's interesting. Your dad, his name's Brian?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that until a couple of weeks ago. Someone hit me up on Instagram saying, hey, your friend Brian said I should get in touch with you. It's like, Brian? Who's Brian? And I realized
because of his social media name. He goes by Taro. Yeah.
Taro Brewer is his name. And he's oh man, he's been following me since I started doing the with my friend the Half Breed podcast.
Right.
A couple of years ago, and then he started following me on this one. And he's been one of my biggest supporters, man.
Definitely. Yeah, he's been telling me about your Half Breed podcast too. And then since you got the Shima Gaijin podcast, he was like, man, you should definitely get on a podcast on there. So
yeah, he was telling me about you, I think last year too. And for whatever reason, things kind of fell through, so I couldn't make that happen. And then I remember he during Golden Week was telling me that you were actually in town in Okinawa.
Yeah.
And he was going to try to get in touch with you. But I told him, I said, hey, I know he's probably here visiting family and he's got other things going on, and plus this whole pandemic stuff. So,
exactly. I didn't want to get the backlash, pretty much.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it, man. Is your guys' season, is it canceled?
Yeah, it got canceled. It was supposed to end. I believe our last game was May 6th, but it ended up ending in March something. So once the Corona started, getting wild, season got canceled, and then supposedly in next season pushed back as well, as far as I know now.
Okay. When does the season run from?
Usually from the first game is late September, and then it'll end in early May.
Oh, okay. So it was already starting to wind down before
it
got canceled.
It was on the back end of the season already.
And you're with the which team are you on?
This year I play for Tokyo Cinq Reves.
Okay. Yeah, it's spelled weird, right? It's like
It's
CINQ.
a, it's a, I believe it's like a French name, and it's supposed to mean like five dreams or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of Japanese teams with weird names out here. So
Yeah, it is weird. It's almost like even like the baseball teams too. It's like
yeah, yeah, true.
yeah. Um, I was reading about the B League a little bit before we met up here, and it's like it's
Right,
crazy. It's got like what 3 divisions with
three
like
divisions.
2 divisions are what 18 teams each.
Yup, and then the third division is 12 teams, 13 teams.
Yeah, and you're in the third division, right?
Yeah, I'm in the third division right now. Just
Okay.
trying to move up.
So is there a ranking? Like is the first division a lot more like are they as far as the talent wise or something or competition? Is it higher?
Yeah, there's a it's higher competition. A lot of it has to do with like bigger sponsors, bigger team owners. It's a lot of it has to do with money mostly.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. And you've been playing for how long?
So this season was my second season. I was a rookie last year when I moved back over to Japan. I played in Saitama last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How this all happen? Let's start from the
Uh,
beginning. Mukashi
long story.
Mukashi.
So I mean, so I started playing like organized basketball pretty much like third, fourth grade. And that's when I was in America. Played like street ball, like pretty much just like at like this court, like this real ghetto court, like in my apartment complex. That's where I pretty much started playing.
Where was that at?
And that was in Indiana.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I was just playing for fun. And then one year, my mom finally let us start playing basketball instead of going to Japanese school on Saturdays. Because before that, we were going to Japanese school on Saturdays, and then the games were also on Saturdays. So, we were trying to get out of Japanese school to play sports. So finally, one year, I believe it was third grade or fourth grade, one of those. She let us start. She let us, play, and the next year we moved to Okinawa for a few years. Me and my brothers, my two brothers and my mom, we moved to Okinawa because she wanted us to kind of learn Japanese culture more, like Okinawan culture, and actually go to like a full Japanese, legit Japanese school.
And how old are you
So
then?
that was fourth grade. So
What year was that?
fourth grade, like 2005 maybe.
Okay.
I believe, like, I don't even really know how old I was in fourth grade. Like, how old are you usually in fourth grade? Like 9, 10?
Yeah, I would say, yeah, you're probably
Something
fourth
like that,
grade,
right?
10. Yeah, 10 years old.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was like 10 years old, and I started, when we came here, it was funny because, you know, a lot of like Japanese people, especially Okinawa, they're known for being like short, they're not tall. So, supposedly, the school was like hearing like, oh, they're gonna get these three new Americans, these half guys, and it's gonna be good because they're probably gonna be tall. But literally, no, we were like super short. So, so like they were definitely in for that surprise. And I played in Okinawa. It's called mini basketball from fourth grade to sixth grade, and then I played a little bit of seventh grade, like Chuichi. And during that time, I made a lot of friends, basketball, non-basketball players, and I told them back then, like, because back then there was the pro basketball league in Japan was kind of like a thing that was starting. So I told them, I want to come back to Japan. Like, obviously, if I don't, go to the NBA or something, I want to come back and play in Japan. So pretty much just, I guess kept that dream alive. Even when, like, I moved back to America when I was in seventh grade. So, like halfway through seventh grade. And I played up until high school, my senior year in high school. I had some college offers. I could have played in college, but I decided not to. And that kind of, I regretted it a lot, like later on, like 4 or 5 years later after high school. So, I still knew I could play. I wanted to keep that promise. So I came to try out in Japan. got an agent, and then made it on team, which was Saitama last year. So that was my first season.
That was
So I kind of
2017, 18.
2018, 2018,
Okay.
2019 season. So I took a long break between like high school and then becoming a pro, like 5-6 year break.
And were you? I mean, so if you weren't going to college, were you just playing pickup games? What were you doing?
Yeah, I would just play pickup games. I would still go to the gym because it's something that was always like a stress reliever. I was still working out, still keeping in shape. So it was just something that I always, regardless if I wasn't playing, professionally or playing organized, it's something I always like, wanted to play regardless. Like street, I played in a couple, just like some grown men leagues, like, you know, like things like that, but nothing serious at all.
And where was that? Was that back in Indiana?
No, that was in Florida. So when we came back from Okinawa in the 7th grade, we moved, like the whole family moved to Florida. So it was like another like new place for me.
Yeah. Was your your dad? What's crazy is I never actually spoken to your dad ever. Like
Right,
it's just
right.
through text. So I mean, I imagine that he was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, he was.
Did he retire or did he just get out?
Uh, I think he just got out. I think he was in for like 10 years. I honestly really don't ask him any questions about his,
Yeah.
past in the Marine Corps or anything like that. Don't really know what he did exactly. That's just, I feel like, like if I was in the military, I wouldn't want to talk about it. So I really try not to like question it because I'm sure there's a lot of, stuff that he's done that, he might not be, you know, not want to talk to his son about pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, when you moved to Okinawa, your dad was he living in Indiana just working?
Yeah, he lived in Indiana with my grandparents, and was just working.
Okay. And then would he come over to Okinawa and visit at all? Or would you guys go visit him during, break time or something?
No, well, he came to visit one time before. It was like a 4 year span. We were in Okinawa, like 3-4 years, and he came to visit one time before we were gonna go back and then go move to Florida.
Okay. What was that like? Living coming back to Japan, Okinawa, and then and this was like your first time ever going to a Japanese school, right?
Right, like a full Japanese school.
Yeah, like
Like
kids, kyotsuke, they
yeah, cleaning during recess and whatnot
Yeah.
after lunch.
What was that
Man, it
experience like
was.
for you?
I mean, it was definitely a really good experience. But I mean, it was difficult at first for sure. It was like the Inaka, so not a lot of people, and especially in Okinawa too. People don't really have like the best views on Americans. And then there was only one other like family that was half, and they were like full Japanese pretty much. Like they lived in Japan their whole time. They never experienced, outside of Japan. And I've always been more like personality wise, I'm like super American. Like I'm not Japanese as far as like personality goes. So it was just hard dealing with, like talking to people that are older, like the mannerisms you have to have. Um, at first, like people try to kind of bully me in a way, but I cut that shit off real quick. um, there are some times where people, I don't know, I mean, kids really don't know really about like racism and whatnot, but just because you're different, they look at you differently. They say like some terrible stuff sometimes, but besides that, it was cool. Like I made friends like pretty quickly. Just at first, it was honestly like it was weird. The weirdest thing was like we got there the first day, and like I was just walking to class, with my uwabaki on. That really pissed me off too. The uwabaki, that pissed me off. I was like, what are these? So yeah, just walk into the class and like all of a sudden I'm just like sitting down and there's like a huge group around me. And like at this time, like my Japanese too is like a little weird because I have like intonation. It's a weird accent. So I just like got completely like Gaijin treatment. Just asked me a whole bunch of questions. Like it was it was a good experience, like looking back, but at the time I was like, man, like I just want to go back to America.
It's
But
overwhelming, right?
yeah, it was definitely overwhelming. Yeah, for sure.
It's almost like you're the you're this alien, or it's like
Yeah,
Planet of the Apes. It's like, oh, you're this human. What are you? And they're all just staring
right,
at you
right,
and everything. I remember
right,
when I was 10, same age, I had to go to Sasebo because that's where my mom's from,
right.
and I had to go to Japanese school. And I remember the first day, it was like the whole school was outside on the dirt field, and they had me stand
Yeah.
up on that podium, and then everyone was just following me all the way up to my class saying hello, 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 hello.
Trying to speak like broken down English.
Yeah, everyone was giving me the middle finger because that was like really cool back then. They didn't even know what it meant. So yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, I was that was like one of my questions, like how was it for you, being over there? So you were just playing
Right.
basketball, and in a league or for elementary school,
Yeah, it's like
junior high.
pretty much just like regional league. Sometimes you would, play schools from like different like prefectures as well at like tournaments. But yeah, if I honestly like if I didn't have sports, like I probably would have got like bullied for sure. Like sad to say, but like seriously, like if you don't like in a way, like if you're not good at something, like and you're different, like kids are gonna really find a way to pick on you.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't like stand up for yourself. So
Did you
that's something
play?
I didn't have a problem with.
Did you play any other sports besides basketball when you were a kid?
No, I wanted to. I played like a lot of my friends. Like so, like in my same grade, there was only one other kid that played basketball. So like most of my friends ended up becoming baseball players. So I would just mess around with baseball, just for fun. But it's so hard to play two different sports in Japan. In America, like you could play, you know, football during football season. You can play soccer during soccer season. They're like pretty much like they, like they're not at the same time. So like you can play different sports, but in Japan, like it was like year round. So you couldn't really play two different sports. But I wanted to play different sports. My mom said if I played soccer, I'm gonna have like super fat legs. I'll be short and I'll go bald from hitting the ball. So she didn't let us play soccer. Uh,
That's science,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen. Science.
I don't know where that came from, but she didn't let us play football because it's dangerous. And she used to be like a basketball manager in high school, I believe. So like she never played basketball, but she liked it. So that's the only sport that she let us play that would replace like going to Japanese school back in America.
What about your pops? Did he play any sports? Did he play basketball?
He says he does, but I've seen him play. I don't know. I think he used to box.
Okay.
Uh, and I mean, I'm sure he was athletic. I mean, I would like to think that I got my athleticism from somewhere, but, but I don't know. I played one on one with him like back when living in Florida and when I was like a kid, and he just has his hook shot. I was like, dude, like what like era did you play in? Like what, like 1940s? Like come on.
You got to bring back the hook shot, man.
Absolutely not. At least not in my position. Maybe if I was like a center or something, I could use it, but
Yeah.
not as a guard.
That's crazy, man. So you were just, I mean, what were you working? What were you doing in Florida before you came back to Japan?
So I pretty much just got my associates, went 2 years, got my 2-year degree. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I still don't know if I were to go back to school. So I didn't want to, waste any money, take out student loans, and kind of like, oh well, I'm not going to use it anyway. So I started working while I was going to school. I worked at this storage facility, um, and I worked there for like doing maintenance for a while. Then ended up moving to Orlando, where I finished off my associates. But I was working for this company that imported cars from Japan to America. Like Skylines. People like cars that people can't get in America that, you know, a lot of like fanboys want pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing. But that company ended up like it ended up just going under for a lot of reasons. So and then after that I had about like a year span where right like a month after, so like while I was working at this company, this import company, I like already decided like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, get back into like, you know, really training, and I want to go try out in Japan. And when the company, you know, went under a month later, like while I was like playing pickup ball, I tore my ACL. So I was gonna go right away to Japan. You know, like after the company went under, like 2 months later, 3 months later, I was gonna go to Japan. But within the next month after the company went under, I tore my ACL. So I had to like rehab for like a whole year and, you know, some months to actually, you know, go to Japan.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
It
crazy,
was
dude.
definitely like it was, those are some dark times when I like think back to it, you know.
I was gonna say that's probably like, yeah, the mental warfare, right, with yourself,
Oh, for sure,
trying
for
to get
sure.
back on track, and I'm pretty sure you probably had doubts too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Had to fight, just had to fight the doubts like pretty much every day, just to, you know, even just kind of to get up and, you know, get to the gym, you know. I definitely you know, my girlfriend, she definitely helped me out with that, so that's something that's, you know, I have to be grateful for.
Is your girlfriend, is she in Tokyo with you?
Oh no, she's not.
Okay, she's back in Florida.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Man, so you were in Okinawa, and then you went back to Florida, and then you decide to um, come back to Tokyo. How did you get that all set up again? Did you tell me that already?
So when I came back, so like when I signed my first contract going to for the team for Saitama, that pretty much happened before I moved to Japan. So that was already set.
Can I
So
stop you
this,
right there?
yeah.
So when you said it was already set, like how that happened? Like, did you know someone who played over there already?
So I signed up for like the tryouts, like the, you know, the whole league tryout, and they pretty much got in contact with the agent for me, that helps like, you know, a lot of American players, you know, get contracts in Japan. So he reached out to me. He had some connects, but before, you know, I could sign anything, get the contract, I had to go to Japan before I actually moved over. So I went to Japan for about 2 months. I believe it was 2019. When was it? No, it was in 28. Wait, it was like a year and a half ago probably, where I went to Japan for a couple months, went to go, you know, practice with this team, went to go have like play at like the whole tryout, and then that's where I got the team. But I went back to America for a couple months and then actually moved to Japan.
Okay. And then you went there, you tried out, and you made the team.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn. So, what's the training like as far as because I know like for judo, the training is freaking crazy, and I know with baseball, and I'm pretty sure things have changed now. It's a new Japan, right? But how's the training like? Is it like Japanese training, or how is it?
No, like me personally, oh, like for as like team practices go, or
Yeah.
oh, team practices are
Is it?
super annoying because first of all, like meeting time. So let's say we have to meet up at 6. If you're not there by 5:30, like and you're young, like some like senpai is definitely gonna have something to say about it, and it's annoying as hell. So that it's like meeting times are really not meeting times. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, well, just be there 30 minutes before the meeting time. It's like it's super annoying. So and then like what I hate the most is, so like we would have the gym from like 6 to 10 p.m., 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And if practice will end, like we only practice for like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. Practice will start, meet up at 6, practice will start at like 7. Like what? Like 7, and then we'll practice for like an hour and a half, 8:30, and then like if you leave early, like oh, it's like a bad look. Like you have to like worry about what people like think about you. Like especially if you're like a younger player, because I'm still like part of the younger players. I was a rookie, so like just the treatment was just. I was like, what? Why can't I just leave if I want to leave? Like.
Do a lot of foreigners who come over and play are they like the same way, the same mindset? Like, hey, what are we doing here? And I guess
Oh,
that's what I was trying to get at, you know?
oh yes, totally, totally. Like every single time. So like the foreigners, like they get rides to practice and then they get rides back home for practice. So the manager has to stay in the gym from like 6 to 10 to like close up and clean up whatnot. So the foreigners won't be able to leave until the manager leaves, and they used to piss them off. Like always like complain, and they would always complain to me about it. Like, why are we still here? Like, why can't we leave? Like, what are we doing? No one's shooting around. No one's doing nothing. Like, what are we doing here still? And I mean, I think the same way too, though. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's in Japanese businesses are set up like that too, right?
Yeah, like,
It's like the
okay,
business
so
mentality.
yeah. What's funny is, like, I don't. So, like, I work part time at like a dentist right now. I do like dentist assistant, and like after we clock out and all that, people like sit and like hang out and chat. And every day I'm just like out of there right away. Like, okay, let's go to some of this. Like, I'm not waiting. Like, I'm gone. Like honestly, like in that realm, I don't care what people think anymore. Like, I'm gone when I'm gone. Like, if I don't feel like staying around, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I think that's the American side of you, right?
Yeah, that's why I say like my personnel is definitely American.
Yeah, I've always wondered if I would be able to survive, because I work on the military base, right?
Right,
So I have SOFA status, and I always thought I don't think I would be able to survive that normal Japanese salary kind of
right,
career, where you
right.
you show up like at 9 and then you're there until like 9, 10 o'clock at night, but really you're probably just wasting your time for the last 3 hours
That's exactly what it
waiting for
is.
the shot show or someone to leave and say it's okay to leave when you've basically done
Right.
all your work. It's like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got shit to do besides work. So
Yeah.
like I'm about to go to the gym, so I'm like out of here. I'm sorry, but I'm not waiting around. I don't care like if you're pretty much like ranked above me at the in the company, like I'm leaving before you.
It's crazy because the Japanese that they're so good on like continuous improvement of processes, right? How they
Right,
build
right,
things, how they just the process of their business and how they
right.
get things done, and but at the same time they have like horrible time management. It's crazy.
Horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
And it's just what I don't think no matter how long I'm gonna live in Japan, I don't think I will ever understand why there's a meeting time if we have to show up earlier than the meeting time. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
There's
why?
I don't know if you ever follow like Japanese baseball, but this was probably over a decade ago. But the manager of the Lotte Marines back in the day, I can't
Mhm.
remember his name right now. Valentine, I think it was his last name. There was an article or a story about his coaching style. They ended up winning the whole Nippon, Japan, whatever baseball
Right.
championships, but the owners wanted him to have like a mandatory practice. And he's this Western manager, right, from America. He's like, well, I don't really think I should have a mandatory practice. He said, maybe I'll have an optional practice on the weekend or something. They said,
Right.
okay, yeah, you do an optional practice, but it must be mandatory that they show up. It's like, what? No. You want to
there
come in and
there
swing the bat around, come in.
there have been, things like that where it's like, so like during the season, like it's pretty grueling. Like we'll have practices. We only have like one day off a week. We'll have practices like so typically like games are on Saturday, Sundays, 2 games a week, and we'll have Monday off and then practice Tuesday to Friday. And there's like a couple weekends in the season where we have a bye week where we don't play. And even during those bye weeks, like, it's very important to get rest. That's like the most, to not, to pretty much, get away from fatigue, to prevent injuries.
Overtraining.
Yeah, overtraining. That's actually a really, that's a big problem in Japanese basketball, I believe, is overtraining. So like even on bye weeks, like, all the players are like, okay, we wonder if we're gonna get 2 days off this week. We don't have a game, so we have a lot of time to prepare for, the next weekend. But nope, we'll have like we'll have optional practice, but everyone feels, I don't know if it's like guilt or they feel like it has to be mandatory, especially the younger guys. So like you have to go. Like you could go and literally just stretch, but you have to go. I don't understand the mandatory optional. It's because it's not optional.
Do you know of any teams where, I mean, are there any teams where they have a foreign manager or coach who maybe change the way that things are, or?
Not necessarily change the way things are, but
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Some teams have, like foreign coaches. But I heard like, especially there's this Russian coach, and one of my buddies played for a Russian coach before, and he was like, they're like the worst. They're even worse than Japanese people. They're worse than the Japanese coaches because they'll literally like make you practice twice a day.
It's communist mindset.
Like, so I don't know. I haven't had to deal with any European coaches yet. I'm hoping I'm not gonna have to, but
yeah. How long do you think you'll do this for?
I mean, my goal was till I was 30, so that would be 5 years being a pro. But I mean, if I could go longer, I want to go longer. I feel like a decade would be like that'd be like a pretty big thing if I'm able to play a decade. But I don't know, just as long as my body will
holds up.
I've already went through like one knee surgery with the ACL tear. So if that happens again, I'm definitely done. So hopefully not.
Yeah. Do you
but
think
as long as my body holds.
Sorry. Do you think you'll just play in Japan, or do you have any aspirations to play like in Europe or anywhere else?
No, not really. I mean, if I have the opportunity, I wouldn't like, I would think about it. But I just like the Japanese. I just, I don't know how I feel about living in a foreign country and not being able to speak the language. It's my problem. Like if I didn't speak Japanese, I don't think I would be playing pro in Japan either. That's like a big thing for me is, if I can't communicate like normally, then I'll have a hard time.
Did when you had this idea, like, I made this promise, I'm going to go back. Did anyone in your family or anyone back home say, nah, man, don't do it? You're not going to be able to catch up. You didn't play college ball or anything like that, or any doubters?
Yeah, for sure.
Call them out. Sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably all my high school teammates, because I told my high school teammates, like, when I decided I don't want to play in college, like, I don't want to play in college, but I'm gonna go play pro in Japan. They're like, nah, they didn't believe me. My head coach didn't believe me. He totally was like, no, you can't play pro. Like, totally shot it down. So that's been a huge motivation for me. Where like I feel like I've always been like an underdog. Even like playing in America, I was small. I'm Asian, like, so like, just like how people like looked at me, like I've always been like an underdog. They would like, do you know what AU basketball is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like with AU basketball is the funniest, like a lot of times who your matchups are, like who you're going to guard that game, it's kind of chosen from like, looks. So like they would like other teams would always put like the sorriest player on me at first. And then like I would just like totally demolish them, and then they'll have to like switch up defenses. So like I've always felt like in some way I'm a underdog. So I mean I wasn't surprised that there were doubters. I mean, because I've always dealt with it. But even with my brothers, like when they were playing basketball and I started playing basketball because of them, it's always something you want to like, like beat your brother. Like if you're the youngest, you want to beat your older brothers at anything they do. And they always thought they were better than me, especially my oldest. Like they're twins, but like the older one, he played basketball until high school too, but he always thought he was, better than me. So that was always something where, no, dude, like I'm gonna surpass you. So Yeah, definitely had doubts, a lot of doubts along the way. And the biggest one was my high school head coach. Man, that pissed me off and like definitely lit a fire under me the whole time.
You ever keep in touch with them?
No. Well, sometimes like Facebook, like I'll talk to him here and there, but it's just like bullshit conversations.
You should get like a one of your Tokyo Cinq Reves. Is it Tokyo Cinq Reves? How's that how you say it?
Tokyo Cinq Reves.
Raves, and you know a photo of you, and then sign it, and then mail it to them.
Send it to him.
Yeah,
I probably should just send a jersey to the school, to my high school.
that'd be cool. You should do that, man. Why not?
Yeah, it's just like I like, especially my senior season because of like my coach and stuff like that. I really didn't leave on like a good like not a good taste in my mouth with this. So like it's kind of hard to like rep, even though that's where I came from. It's hard to rep it, you know.
Yeah.
So
So you have two older brothers. They're twins. Do you have any other siblings?
no, I'm the youngest.
Okay, so
So
it's your two brothers and then you.
yeah, than me. Yeah, they're
Okay.
2 years older than me.
And do they play basketball still, or what are they up to?
Oh no, no. One of them like supposedly plays still for fun. But
Did you say supposedly?
yeah, supposedly.
Your brothers are gonna listen to this, and be like, "Oh yeah, okay."
One is in one of my brothers is in the military. Other one he's like in IT,
Okay.
pretty much. Works for a company called Salesforce. The other one's in the Air Force. So
Is he back at home, the one that's in the Air Force, or is he abroad?
he's back home right now. He was in Japan for about half a year. I'm actually was able to when I lived in Saitama, I was able to meet him out here. So that was pretty cool. The
What?
different paths led to like the same place. It was so weird.
That's so cool. Your dad, does he drift?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's more of like a builder though. Like me and we built a car. I'd say we, but he pretty much built it. I pretty much just bought the parts. But when I was able to help, I helped out. But yeah, when it comes to like cars, building stuff, like he's a genius, and I kind of wish I would have been learning that stuff since I was younger. But I was like just so into basketball, I didn't care about anything else.
Did he get into that when he was out here in Okinawa? Is that
Yeah,
what
but I
that
think
was?
he was into cars like before he even moved to Japan though. But he was probably more into like hot rods and like muscle cars and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, like American.
What
So I
did
feel
you
like
do?
once like a lot of people come to Japan, like they just fall in love with like the Japanese style of like drifting, racing, building cars. So
You keep on saying that you're short. How tall are you?
in centimeters or in
Oh, dude, I'm
feet?
white. Yeah, tell me. Yeah,
I'm like 5'9".
you're
I
5'9".
list Yeah, I'm probably actually a little taller, but I list myself at 5'9" on purpose.
So the teams mismatch you again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny when you said Okinawans are short, because there's
It's
some
so
people
true.
here, and if you see like a main, someone from Naichi who's down here, on vacation, whatever, you can tell, that they're from mainland, right? Just by looking at them,
Yeah.
or by the way they're acting. But some of the people I know here say, how do you know? It's like, dude, you can't tell. I mean,
Yeah,
the
like
difference.
what's funny is like when I go back to like Okinawa, like I feel taller. Like, and it's like so true. Like when I'm like in like Naichi, like I'm not short, but I'm also not tall. Like I'm probably like on the tall side, but in like Okinawa, like I feel like a giant. And what was really funny is like when I when I moved to Florida after living in Okinawa for a few years, I was still short. Like I didn't hit my growth spurt yet, and I hit my growth spurt in about probably like sophomore junior year. I probably grew like 5 inches maybe, and maybe not that much, like 3 or 4 inches. And when I went back to Okinawa, my junior year, I met some friends, and like like everyone was all of a sudden like shorter than me. I was like what happened? And they're like, what? Like when'd you get so tall? But like I'm really not tall, so that's what's like hilarious about it. It's like well, like if you come to America, like you'll see how short I actually am.
It's like when you're in Japan. I know for me, like I feel, I'm fat. I got so fat, and then I'll go to America. I'm like, okay, I'm not that fat. I mean, maybe I'm getting towards being a little bit obese, but I'm still good. I'm still good.
Yeah.
What else? I was gonna ask you, just when you're living in Japan, do people automatically assume you're a gaijin? Do they know that you're half?
Oh, for sure. No. So I would say definitely like more people think I'm just like a full gaijin. Like for example, like if I go to a store, like a store that I've never been to, especially if it's like Obachan, that's running things there. Like she'll be like, "Oh, you're really good at Japanese," and I'm just like, "Well, I am Japanese, thank you." I just literally get like gaijin treatment anywhere, and I don't know like when it happened, but I used to look more Japanese. Like I look more like my mom than my dad. But I don't know what it is. I just look more like a gaijin. And there's been times where I'll literally speak like I'm fluent in Japanese, and I'll speak Japanese to like the store clerk or whatnot, and they'll try to speak back to me in like broken down English, and I'm like, I'm speaking perfect Japanese to you. What are you doing? Like, you're making it harder on yourself. I honestly could never understand that.
Would you ever get angry about it, or do you just kind of
No, no.
is it just like whatever?
I just laugh. Like I just laugh. Like especially when like, because I get it probably maybe few times a week where, oh wow, you're really good at Japanese. Where are you from? And I'm just like, I'm Japanese. I'm like full
Nihongo jozu
Japanese.
desu ne.
Yeah. I also just joke with them and tell them I'm like full Japanese. Like to be honest, like I'm not even half. I'm just full Japanese. I just look different.
You just tell them, no, benkyo. I did so much, studying. Yeah, I would. I used to get angry, just upset and frustrated about it if people, if I'm trying to communicate in Japanese with them. My Japanese is shit, but I try to, oh, Nihongo
Yeah.
jozu desu ne, or yeah, I even had a situation where one time, it was an emergency. I was running away from getting my ass beat, and Naha, and I jumped into this cab, and I was telling the cab driver in Japanese, like, I need you to take me to, Urasoe Miyagi area on Gopachi. And he's like, oh, immediately he just said Nihongo, or he said Eigo wakaranai. And I'm like, dude, I'm speaking Japanese. Shut the cab door, floor it, let's go. And I jumped out and I had to keep running. But yeah.
Wait, why wait, I want to know the story about why you're running, because I've had some wild times here in Japan, but I've never had to run run away like that.
Well, I won't give you the full details, but I'll give you the cliff notes without incriminating myself.
Okay.
There used to be this club called B Greens
Okay.
on Kokusai Street. It's where it used to be right next to. Are you familiar with Kokusai Street on the intersection
Yeah.
there where the Don
Yeah.
Quixote is?
Yeah.
There used to be a club right there, and something happened in the club, and then I went outside, and then these guys came running out of the club, and they started jumping me, and then somehow, I don't know what happened, I got up, and then I don't know if they were attacking somebody else who was maybe trying to break it up, but then all of a sudden nobody's kicking my ass, so I got up and I just started booking, and I just jumped in this cab around the corner, and I was telling them in Japanese, hey, take me to my house, this is where I live, and that's when he was saying, I don't speak
What?
English. Yeah. But,
Wait, so
that was like 15 years ago, man.
were you getting jumped by Japanese people, or was it some Americans?
No, it was
Or
some other
Filipino?
service members. Yeah. You were
Okay.
probably 10 playing basketball in Chinan
Probably
Village when
saw
that
about it on the
happened.
news or something.
Yeah, a lot of crazy times. Yeah, long time ago. But yeah, man. If you were to play any other sport, what would it be? Soccer?
Uh, yeah, probably soccer. I don't know, football maybe, because I
Football?
feel like when I used to play in recess, like I was pretty good. I could have been a good receiver. I feel even at this height, I could have been a good receiver.
What position do you play?
I play point guard, shooting guard.
Okay.
I feel more comfortable playing shooting guard, but a lot of coaches here kind of try to I guess not transform me, but kind of have me play point guard. But I'm more of a shooter, so I
Yeah,
like
I
playing shooting.
saw on your Instagram, man, like was it your Instagram I think I saw? Like you were just like you would shoot and not even like really look and you would just turn around at the camera and then all of a sudden like behind you is like the hoop and swoosh. I was like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
sometimes you just know when it's going in. Just a
Yeah.
few muscle memory.
What's your highlight so far in the season? Do you have one like something that's memorable that you've done?
Um, that my first pro points was definitely memorable. I got in like late in the game. I really didn't play that much. I got late. I got in late in the game. We were losing, so I was just like, I was like, fuck it. So I came down with the ball. Like broke this dude. He fell, and I just shot a three and it just went in. It was just like, oh shit, that was my first like pro bucket. Like I just like thought about it afterwards because like when you're in the game, you really don't think about what's currently going on. But like thinking back, that was definitely my most memorable highlight so far. I'm sure there's more to come in the upcoming seasons, but
Are you a starter now?
no.
No.
I started one game last season. But yeah. So like for me, there's still like there's a lot I still have to learn. Because I took a big gap off playing basketball. Where in college, like there's a lot of stuff that I could have learned, but because I took that gap, I didn't learn, and now I'm still trying to learn. Just like like detailed things like use how to use like pick and rolls like during you know you know different ways a defense guards you, stuff like that. I'm not sure how much you know about basketball, so
Very I mean, I know a little bit. Like I understand what you're talking about, but
yeah.
if you try to break down strategy or something with me, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just some like detailed things like that where like, you just learn more from experience. So like because I haven't had that experience, I'm learning now. But last season was definitely a big season of learning for me though, because I got kind of more comfortable. Because playing you like when you come from like a foreign country, you got to kind of get used to how that current country that you play in plays, like the play style. That's something that I've been getting used to the past couple seasons, where I'm definitely feeling more comfortable now. But it's definitely different than how Americans play basketball. Like it's in America, it's more like one on one. It's like if you compare like how do you know how like the Spurs play? Like they play a lot different than any other team in the NBA.
I mean,
Like
I
they're
know
more
that Popovich is, he's considered probably one of the greatest coaches, and he has a unique coaching style. But
right.
I don't understand like how they're different from any other team. So yeah, if you could explain that, that'd be cool.
So pretty much like like the Spurs style is like it's like they pass, like lots of passes, and then they score. But most other teams, it's like they have a star player and they have these other star players, and they pretty much just like rack up all the points. It's less team ball, team basketball.
Hmm.
So like in Japan, they try to they definitely focus a lot more on either there's most teams that are it'll be like pass to speed, like whoever is a faster team in a way is gonna have like an advantage. It's like very fast paced, which I'm not used to. I'm like used to like kind of slow it down, move the ball a little bit, and then like one on one. So it's kind of been a challenge, like kind of getting used to Japanese basketball, where like some teams are like super fast paced, some teams are it's just like pass, and then some teams it's just like give the ball to the foreigners. So pretty much that's how it breaks down. So depending on what team you're on, you kind of have to get used to that play style. And overall, though, Japanese basketball is just this really fast paced, like kind of like almost chaotic type of like play style.
Why did you switch teams?
So the president on my old team, like he was a big douchebag, so I was not dealing with it. And what kind of sucks is like he ended up getting fired last season. So I was like, damn, I should just sign a contract for one more year with the same team because I don't think it's a good look when you go from team to team to team. So I should have just stayed on that team, but yeah, I didn't get along. I didn't like how he kind of treated the players. Like it was a very political. So
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you made the right choice, though. I mean, you say you got in trouble, so I mean,
yeah.
So do you live in Tokyo, or do you live on the outskirts somewhere?
Oh well, I live kind of like in Inaka in Tokyo, a place called Chofu. It's kind of it's like super close to the city, but not close enough to where I live. There's like too many people. Like I have
Okay.
like this really dope like stream like river type like flowing like right by my house, so it's super peaceful over here.
Do you like Tokyo?
Yeah, definitely. I love it. Like honestly, it'd be like if I were to have to take a pay cut, or so if another team that's somewhere else would pay me more, I would have to definitely like consider still staying in Tokyo because I love Tokyo so much.
Yeah. What do you love about it specifically?
So like I love where I live right now because if I want to just be peaceful, I don't want to do anything. I just want to chill outside, go to like a nearby park, then I could do that. But if I want to go get wild, go to the city, then it's also right there. So, and that's honestly like coming to Tokyo, even like Japan in general, a lot of places, what I love is it's like the city, but there are these areas that are just like you're in the city, but it doesn't seem like you're in the city. Like it has like the shrines, like huge parks, just like in the city, like Shinjuku and stuff like that, where it's like, how am I in Shinjuku right now?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this traditional. It's like the ancient is like in the modern like era in a way.
Yeah. And it's super I mean, that whole area is convenient.
Yeah, for sure.
Just get on a train and you can go anywhere, subway,
Anywhere.
wherever.
Don't need a car. I pretty much just I just ride my bike everywhere. So like even like just going to work right now to the dentist office, like I'll just ride my bike. I don't ever have to. Like I really want to buy a car. Like I want to buy a drift car out here, but it's like I don't need it at all.
Yeah, I was like, what's the point,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna use it maybe once a month.
It's like having a snowboard here in Okinawa or something. It's like, what am I gonna
Exactly.
what am I gonna do with this thing? What do they call them in Naichi? Plastic drivers? Is that what they call them? You ever heard that?
Snowboards?
No, it's like people in mainland Japan, they got driver's licenses, but they don't actually have a car and they never driven a car before.
Oh, I don't
Plastic
know.
drivers. I think they call them plastic drivers.
I've never heard that before, but that is funny.
Like I have a friend, he's from Nagata originally, and I think his mother's Okinawan, but he's been living here for a couple of years, and then his girlfriend, who lived in Tokyo, she moved to Okinawa, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, she's a plastic driver, so I got to teach her how to drive. I was like, plastic driver? I never heard that before.
Yeah, like I've been thinking about getting like a driver's license out here, but it's like, am I gonna really use it? Like, especially now. So that's something that I've been kind of like pondering about for a while now.
Yeah, how'd you get around when you came to Okinawa last time?
Just bus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I didn't know you could like travel everywhere with the bus, and I was cool with it because I'm used to public transportation now, so like
Yeah.
just bus.
Doesn't the
And then
bus system in Okinawa suck?
Yeah, it's terrible, but like we were trying to go to we were going to Korijima, right? And we were waiting at the bus stop, and we waited like 30 minutes. It was like 30 minutes late, and I was like, I don't know if it's because of like the ongoing pandemic that like the bus isn't running, but I looked online and it said they're still running. So we're like, okay, forget it. Let's just go somewhere else. So we went to like a different bus stop to get on a different bus, and we see the bus that we were supposed to get on for Korijima like pass us 45 minutes late. Like we're like, what? Like this is what Uchinanchu time is. Like Uchinan time, that's what it is.
And did it cost you a fortune? Because I remember one time, and maybe things have changed, I got on a bus like from Urasoe to Chatan, and it cost me like 2,000 yen. I was like, what is going on here?
Oh, no, it wasn't that bad. Like we stayed at a place in Onnason,
Okay.
You know where like Monza Beach and stuff is like
Yeah. Yeah.
that area? We stayed over there, and from the airport to over there, it was like maybe like $15 or something, like 1,500 yen.
Okay.
So it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you may want to get your license, man, so that way you can. I mean, even if you want to go drive outside of Tokyo and go
Yeah,
somewhere else, But
yeah, I should, but I had my international license, last year, and I was thinking like maybe I would want to rent a car and like go on like a road trip or something. But then I heard like even if you have your international license, like if you get stopped, like they could arrest you. So I was like, yeah, never mind. Like, let's not do that.
just don't drift, man. You'll be all right. Don't worry.
I, I don't know. I don't know. I might drift a K car. I might want to.
Mini K car.
Yeah.
Oh man. Have you ever thought about trying to play for the Ryukyu Kings coming to Okinawa?
Oh, that is my biggest, like that's my main goal. But just have to work my way up, and maybe it might happen in the future, but it's definitely that'll be a big challenge for sure.
That'd be cool, man.
Yeah, that like honestly, I want to move to Okinawa right now. If I could move to Okinawa, I would, but I mean, it wouldn't be necessarily hard to find a job at all, but it's just more like I want to play basketball, so
Right.
I have to
Yeah.
stay over here.
So what do you consider Florida home?
That's such a hard question for me. I would consider Okinawa my home just because I was born there. And from where with all the places I've lived, which isn't a lot, but like going back forth from like Okinawa, America, Tokyo, and then, like Indiana, Florida, I would definitely say Okinawa has been my most favorite. I have the best memories in Okinawa, so I would consider Okinawa my home.
Is Florida? I heard that Florida's weather is pretty similar to Okinawa,
Oh, it's just like it.
so it's like no change for you.
Yeah, it's just like it's super hot during the summer. It's usually like 80 degrees on Christmas. you know, it's super humid. You walk outside for like 2 minutes and you're like sweating.
How often has your mom come back?
Wow, the last time she's been back was probably like 5 years ago. I know they really they want to like come back, every year, but like with work and stuff like that, it hasn't really been, possible. But I don't know. It's funny. Like my mom was like, if you actually start playing more, like I'll come watch a game. But if you're not playing, I'm not gonna come watch a game. I was like, damn. I was like, damn, that's cold. Like,
Now I know, like we talked about, like all the teams, right? Do you guys actually come down to Okinawa and play?
no, the closest there's not a for like B3. There's not a B3 Okinawan team. The closest we go to Okinawa is Kagoshima.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so we
So
don't. Yeah,
you,
we don't get out of the Naichi area.
so you're just playing within that B3 league.
Right, right.
Okay, so you never play like B2 or B1 or anything like that.
No, so B1
Oh,
plays B1 teams, and then B2 plays B2 teams, and then B3 just plays the B3 teams.
and what do they do? Do they take the top two teams in each division and then that's the playoffs, or how's that work?
So for B3, top two teams, the top team goes automatically up to B2. The lowest team on B2 goes down to B3, and then the top team in B2, or like the second, the team lowest from the second will play in B2 will play the top the second team in B3, and then whoever wins, they either move up, or if the B2 team loses, and they move down. But B1 is the only league that has playoffs. So even from like B2, like the top B2 team will go up to B1. It's just like the same thing with every league. So like you no matter what team you play on, like if you're good, you're gonna have a chance to move up. But there's also, you have to be able to get a license for like that league. You have to be able to get like a home gym that holds a certain amount of fans. You know, so it's not just like even if you're good. Like there was a like for one instance, A team that moved up to B2 last year from B3, they did good in B2 league, but because they couldn't find a gym, like get a home gym that could fit a certain amount of people, they automatically had to come down to B3. So it's just like not. It's not only you have to be good, you also have to like check these other, check marks on the list.
Yeah. I imagine they have a translator for the Gaijin players. Does the team try to save money and use you as a translator?
Yeah, actually, the last two seasons, I was contracted as a translator as well.
Oh,
So I
really?
was,
That was like part of your
yeah,
contract?
yeah, player and translator. I was getting money for both.
Oh, that's pretty
Right.
cool. I was actually
Yeah,
joking about that, but
but it's bullshit. Like I want to get out of it, like seriously, because it's so annoying. Pretty much like annoying because all the complaints from the foreigners is gonna come to me, and I'm just like, dude, talk to the manager.
yeah, yeah. And then you just got to
But
explain like, well, this is just the way that the Japanese are, right? This is the
yeah,
process.
exactly.
You have to stay till 10 o'clock at night until the shacho leaves or the manager or whatever, right?
You don't understand how many times that was a complaint to me. It's like, why are we still here? Like, what are we doing? We're just sitting here on our phones. Like, I'm like, dude. I mean, if you want to play in Japan, you're gonna have to deal with this.
Oh my gosh. Do they ever complain about the food or anything like that?
So, like a good friend of mine, I played with them the past two seasons. We both like played on the first team and then went to the team that I played on this year. We both like went there as well. Um, he's like totally like he tries he eats anything, so he doesn't have a problem. But you're gonna run into those those foreigners that will only eat like skia or like karage, or like they're not gonna eat sushi, or just some like not even eat ramen. So like yeah, some players definitely have a problem coming in Japan. If you're not like willing to try some like weird shit like raw horse meat, then you might have some problems.
That's good.
Raw horse meat, yeah, that's good. I love it.
What
I
would you
don't have
say
a
the
problem.
best part of being half is?
The best part of being half is okay. so okay, so for example, just like people, I mean, it's like a a pro and a con where people just don't know what you are, but you could use it to your advantage for sure. Like for example, like if I like go out or something, like go to a club or something, a lot of times I'll act like I don't speak Japanese, kind of like, and just like listen to if people have anything to say, like listen to what they say, or like make like it's bad to say, but essentially like make people work hard at speaking broken down English. It's like something that I laugh at a lot. So just yeah, people just not expecting for me to know Japanese, especially, is that's one of my favorite things. Just especially growing up too, like just learning both cultures. Was able to live in Japan for a while. Was able to live in America for a while, and I kind of like that's something that's super like at first like I like hate like I didn't really want to move to Okinawa. Like I didn't at the time, like it was something that wasn't like cool for me. But like looking back, I appreciate like my parents especially for giving me that opportunity to learn both cultures. Because if not, then I probably wouldn't be in the situation I'm in right now, or I probably wouldn't be able to speak two languages. So I mean, I think that's the best thing about being half anything. Like if you're half not just like being half Japanese, half American, but just being mixed with cultures. You just know set different cultures, different languages.
Hardest part of being half?
Hardest part of being half,
Getting
you
the
know,
English menu when you walk into a Japanese restaurant?
yo, that's funny because that happens all the time. And I'm like, Nihongo, Nihongo 大丈夫ですよ. Like, I just be like, English? Like, yeah, that's like I said, that's like pro and con for me. Like that could be like the best thing, but also be like the worst thing of being half is just people, assuming, what you are. Um, Also, okay. So this is definitely the worst thing about being half. There was this one situation last year. So assistant coach. So like there was a couple times where I like showed up late to practice. Like I'm like Uchina time mixed with American time. So like I'm not. I definitely like change now, but at first I was not like punctual at all, like whatsoever. So he asked me like which are you? Like you have to tell me. You have to choose. Like, are you Japanese or are you American? Because that's how I'm going to treat you. Like I was like, what? I was literally about like beat his ass. Like I was like, I'm half. Like, what do you mean? So I think that was like the worst part so far about being half. It just no matter where you are, you're gonna be treated a little different. Like in America, I was treated a little different for being Asian. In Japan, when I was going like to the Japanese school, I was treated different for being American. So that's probably the worst part. But yeah, English menus, being given English menus is at top of the list.
My wife and I like to mess with the waiters or the waitresses when they do that. They'll automatically bring me the English menu, and they'll give her the Japanese, and then she'll say, "Ano, Deutsch no menu arimasu ka?" Do you have a German menu? And they stop and freeze. You know how like their minds work like,
They're like doing calculations in their head.
ドイツのメニュー、しょっちゅう待ってください. And we're like, no, we're just kidding,
What you guys should do is when you guys get the two different menus, just like switch them between each other. Like you get the Japanese menu, she gets the English menu, and they're gonna be like, "What?"
And what they do too is like when we're getting ready to pay, they'll give her the receipt, or they'll say it's Roxanne or whatever like that.
Right,
They'll give her the
right.
change, and she'll say like in Japanese, like, "Why are you giving it to me? He's the one who paid you." That's the one thing too, right? Like how the Japanese aren't flexible.
Yeah,
You trying
that
to
is
order
so
something,
true.
or
Because I feel like in society, in Japanese society, you're kind of like trained to be a robot in a way.
yeah,
And it
this is
kind
the
of that
way.
translates. Yeah. That translates to Japanese basketball. Actually, I forgot to mention like that's big part of Japanese basketball is like so many people are robotic because they think there's only one way to do a certain thing, and that's how they've been taught. So they just do it that one way. But there's like tens and thousands of different ways to do things. But they're just like, no, it's this way. No, like robotic.
You know who would be like a good person to talk to, who I would like to talk to, and I'm pretty sure you would like to pick his brain too. Is I can't think of his name right now. Is it Rui? Rui
Oh,
Hachimoto?
Hachimura.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hachimura, right?
Yeah, Hachimura. Yeah.
Yeah, is to ask about his experience of learning basketball in Japan, playing that system, then going to college, right? And how was the adjustment to that? And then obviously, what was his adjustment going into the NBA?
Seriously. I even like not with just basketball, but I want to know how like someone that's like half black, half Japanese. I know they've like even like I've dealt with some like racist stuff here, but they've had to deal with some like terrible shit because like not like most Japanese people are racist. I'm not saying that, but just if you look different, they're gonna treat you different.
Right.
That's something where like I've never because I never really had a friend that's like half black, half Japanese here, so I don't know how they've been treated, but I'm sure it's worse than I was. So
Yeah, I mean, even now with everything that's just going on in the
yeah,
United States.
exactly.
Gosh. Yeah. I think I ran out of questions. Did you ever have like did you ever get in a fight or anything like that of being because someone was treating you differently, like as a kid or
Uh,
being picked on?
yeah,
I
in
used to
fourth
have
grade
those.
when fourth grade when I first came here, I did. Like it was not really a fight, but this dude like he was supposedly a bully. And this is when people started like not like necessarily giving me my respect, but started like treating me different. Is like he tried to like he was being racist. I don't remember what he said, but he said something like racist, and I just like slapped him, just like open hand slapped him, and then after that, like it was nothing. Like he didn't do anything back. He was just like scared or like gave me my respect after that. But I just had open hand like bitch slap somebody.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Sasebo, and this was like when I was 10. But yeah, all the time they would say Gaijin, 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 and then they would always give me the middle finger because that was what was, you know, in Hollywood and things like that.
Right.
And yeah, I remember getting a fight at the school, and I remember the school teacher, I think, wrote a letter from my mom, and I was supposed to give it to my mom, but I just threw it away. But
Wait, so your mom never found out about that?
I don't think so. No. Did you have to wear those things in school, like with the red hat or the white hat? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, during gym, yeah,
Yeah.
where you could like the reversible ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hated everything about the uniforms. Like in elementary, like you didn't have to wear, you know, like as far as just like going to class and stuff like that. But you know, obviously, like in gym, you had to change. But when I was in like Chuichi, like 7th grade, you know, I went to school for a little bit, and I hated having to wear the uniforms. Like it was the worst. Like I don't think I've ever hated something more than that. Than maybe Uwabaki, I hated more than that. But
Yeah.
you know, like the typical Uwabaki, the slip-on ones, like
Yeah.
the ones that are just they're just like hideous. So at first I was wearing those like in 4th to 5th grade, and then when I got in 6th grade, I was like, you know, like pleaded to my mom, like, please, like, I'm, you know, where before we go back to America, I just want to get the ones that you tie up, like the shoes, the ones that look like shoes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And she let me get those, and like no one else had them, so I feel like I was like super special. Like, yeah, like I'm like stunting on all you guys right now.
Those are like
So,
the slip-on shoes, like with the blue rubber on the tip. Is that what that is? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Ah,
Yeah.
gosh, man. You like write your
God,
name on everything you own, right? Like on
yeah,
your shoes, your socks, your t-shirt or whatever.
yeah,
Oh man. So you did like Undo Kai and all that kind of stuff?
yeah. And I was like always like one of the fastest. So
You like the anchor?
actually, yeah, look, and yeah, the anchor. Actually, in 6th grade, I also ran because my basketball coach was like the coach for the track and field team, and I ran the 800 meter, and I broke like the regional record. That wasn't like broken for like 10 years, and then like 3 years later, after I moved to America, someone broke my record. But I left a little legacy at that school.
Do you keep in touch with a lot of the people that you knew when you were here as a kid?
Oh yeah, for sure I do. Like I have most of them on Instagram. They always get together for like summer barbecues, but like I'm always like in season or something, like, or last year I was in America at the time, but this year hopefully you know, if the corona shit goes away, then you know, I'll be able to, you know, go back to Okinawa, you know, like see all my friends, because it's been like maybe 2 years since I've seen like my friends. So
Yeah.
that's something that's actually pretty cool, because I feel like you know, like fuck you guys, like I'm taller than you guys now.
Yeah, 5'9". That's pretty tall here in Okinawa. Yeah, that's another question I have is with the pandemic. I mean, you're in Tokyo. What's that like, man?
I mean, honestly, it seems like everything's just the same. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really like go out and drink and stuff like that much. Like, I didn't. Before the pandemic, I used to, like, you know, here and there. But like right now, like I didn't do it a lot anyway, so it hasn't been that much of a difference for me. But I, you know, like went out to drink, and all the clothes stores like closed at 10, and I was like, what? That's like the only thing that's like different to me, to be honest. People are out and about like normal. A lot of people on the trains. It's just weird because it's like middle of summer almost, and everyone's wearing masks. That's like the only thing. Like my face, like I ride my bike pretty much everywhere, so you know I have my mask on. It's like, and only like my mouth area is like super sweaty. That kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, and Tokyo gets hot, man. I mean,
Yeah,
Okinawa is
there's like
humid
no wind.
and the sun is strong, but Tokyo, like all concrete, no wind. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
yeah. But you're a dental assistant, right? So it's not like you're a salary man. You're not wearing like a suit and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm
How'd you get that
just
gig?
nope. So the dude that owns like the several branches he has or whatever, he was like he was the sponsor for the team that I played on this season. And then pretty much just like through that, I started working there.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of uh Japanese like semi-pro or professional teams like or athletes, they'll work for the company that sponsors them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty common.
It's like you'll work during the day and then you can go train at night and then we're
Right,
paying
right,
you to
right,
be an athlete but also to kind of work or be a translator.
right. I literally wear like 10 different hats right now.
If you need help with your resume, let me know. Oh man. Hey, Shion, this has been fun, man. I'm really glad we got
Definitely,
together and we're able to
definitely.
talk. Is there anything else you want to like talk about or share?
No, not really. I feel like I shared like, you know, a
Your whole
lot.
life
Like I
story?
definitely, yeah, like I have fun like sharing my life story, just the good parts and the bad of yeah, the things I hate about Japan sometimes. But but
No,
yeah,
it's
definitely
it's it's fun,
fun.
man. It's fun to talk to other people who are half and kind of get your
Yeah,
experience
seriously
of
though.
I feel like we always have like the same shit in common.
Yup.
Like like what
Have
we
to
just
deal with
talked
the
about.
same stuff.
Yeah.
Have to deal with the same stuff. But kind of have like the like some stuff that are the same that are like positives though.
Yeah.
Like being able to mess with Japanese people, assuming that you can't speak Japanese. Like that's like one of my favorite things to do every day.
That's cool. Hey
Just the
man,
confusion on their face.
let's do this again one of these days. And
Yeah,
I hope,
definitely, definitely.
yeah,
I
I hope your
appreciate it.
season will. You said it'll probably start again in September, hopefully.
Yeah, next season's as of now it's supposed to start in January. It's pushed back all the way to January, but could start sooner. So hopefully it starts sooner. I could get back on the court.
Cool. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I really do. So, but stay safe out there, and yeah, I appreciate this time.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks. You
Yeah,
stay safe too. I don't know. You're probably around less people than I am, but you never know. Some Obacha might have it.
maybe.
Definitely. But appreciate it, man.
Yeah, buddy.